And here we go with the next animatronic for the FNAF ranking. It's fan favorite character, Foxy the Pirate Fox, aka the last of the 4 animatronics from FNAF 1 that I need to do before we get to the big boy himself. Now, before anything else, I want to bring to light something from our last FNAF animatronic ranking video, the segment where I talked about Toy Chica. In retrospect, I was a bit harsh on her for no real reason. No reason other than I was still in the mindset others had about her as well, that she wasn't a good animatronic because of how many people simped for her. That, and I was also sort of figuring stuff out about myself. I'll get into all that in a later video, don't need to worry about it now. I've changed from that mindset since then, and now I no longer see her as a bad animatronic, and I actually kind of enjoy her now. And I probably move her in that ranking from below, from where she was to above with her Chica, but below Jacko Chica. So number 3. That's all I want to say on that. Now back to Foxy. Foxy is an interesting specimen because, like Bonnie, there's some gray area for who can really be considered a Foxy animatronic, though none are really as black and white as any of Bonnie's different animatronics. Maybe the closest one to that would be that maybe Roxanne Wolf would be the Springtrap to Foxy's Bonnie. But for the hell of it, all those gray area animatronics, I'm going to just count them in this video anyway, because otherwise I barely have any animatronics to talk about, because for some reason, despite being like a really big fan favorite character, Foxy doesn't have a whole lot of different animatronics about himself. Nothing really else to say. If you need a refresher on the rules for what does and doesn't qualify, here's a clip of me talking about it in the Bonnie ranking video. Basically, my rules are they have to originate from a main series game, so no AR original designs, no FNAF World redesigns, and no merchandise original designs. And that one really stinks because I really did want to talk about Circus Bonnie because I love that design. They were cooking with that design. I just like clowns, and he's a clown. Meh. Second rule is they have to actually be tied to Bonnie in some way. So characters like Springtrap do count because the animatronic and suit parts of it are, based from Spring Bonnie. But characters like Bonnet, Vanny, mixes from Ruin, they don't count because they're their own character, not really tied to Bonnie in any way. Except maybe Bonnet, because it's just a redesign of Bonnet or Bon, whatever. I'm not counting it because it's still its own character. 3, the character has to have an actual model within one of the games, not just like a sprite or something. So Spring Bonnie in like FNAF 3, minigames, FNAF 4, whatever, that doesn't count because there's nothing really to go on about with it. It's just a sprite. You can't really compare that to like an actual model. It just wouldn't be fair, really. And lastly, I'm going to be going character by character from each game. So I'm going to start with all the Bonnies of FNAF 1, the FNAF 2, so on and so forth, so that it's easier and more balanced for me to actually do all this and easier for you to digest. Surprise! Surprise! Kaloo, Kalay, oh, fraptious day! We only got one animatronic to talk about in this game. And of course, it is the titular Foxy. And on a technical level, he is the best designed animatronic in the game, though I still prefer Golden Freddy. He's the most unique looking one of the bunch, with Chica being a close second in that department. He's the only one that's withered in the game, having cuts and gashes on his arms and chest, and the entire endoskeleton on his lower half below the knees just being completely exposed. Some interesting thing to note as well is despite having an eye patch, he still has both of his eyes. He still has 20/20 vision, likely because his patch is operated and can move up and down, so that when it moves up, there isn't just a hole there that could scare the little kids. Another thing is that despite being the animatronic based on the animal with the most prominent tail of the bunch, he doesn't have one. And I didn't notice that until very recently, and I didn't have two thoughts about it when I first saw him. But now that I'm looking at it now, knowing that he doesn't have one when he really should, looks a bit off. All in all, a nice little design that will be expanded upon in the future. I've already made my opinion known on Withered Foxy, and I don't want to go into it because it's already out there, it's already been said, I've already said it perfectly before in the past. So here's the clip of me talking about it in one of the earlier videos I've done about this.
Phantom Foxy
this is basically River Foxy again, but somehow even uglier. I don't like how big his jaw is and how far down it goes from his head. I don't really like how wide his mouth goes. And I don't like how his skin was like... I know it's supposed to like bird toast in the end, but it just looks like a... Pull up that one picture of Donkey Kong. It looks like that. Yeah, that. That's what it looks like. Just on the sides of his face and on the top of his head. And I don't know exactly what it is, but there's just something weird about his eyes. My dad is not giving. The only actual good part about his design was that really cool big hook he got. But in Phantom Foxy, he got that, so instead he just has a missing arm. Plus all the colors on him. It just looks like he's smeared in poop, dirt, grime, and grease. He just looks like he would smell like that kind of smell you get when you smell it, you can also taste it as well. That's just how he looks to me. And this is just kind of a me thing. Why would he give him free toe instead of two? That's criminal. That is criminal. How do you like my old editing style? The way I used to talk. Old times. Mangle, on the other hand, I absolutely love. This is one of the coolest and sickest designs for an animatronic in the entire series. And it fits perfectly into a horror game setting. The slick and clean head on top of bits and bobs and doodads that can be used to lure unsuspecting children to its grasp. That way you can... It's incredible, and the lore of it too is actually kind of funny, rather than scary. Basically, kids kept tearing to bits every single day, and the staff got sick of Humpty Dumptying it every single day, so they basically just turned it into an attraction, where kids could just tear it apart and put it back together again, leading to this. And if I was Mangle, I'd be pretty upset too. Not even to mention, the fact that it just magically Spider-Man's its way across the ceiling, it is a testament to how well it's designed, that when it's just crawling around on the ceiling, you don't even question it, you're just like, oh yeah, that makes sense. The thought of how it even keeps itself clung up there never pops into your head. It just
one question. Yes?
Makes sense. Great animatronic going at the top of the list right now, hands down. And River Foxy obviously at the bottom. Next game. Refer to the River Foxy clip from earlier. Phantom Mangle, while I think it looks even better than the Mangle, does have its issues, such as you never really see it. You never really see more than the top of its head, at all times. And at least with the other Phantom animatronics, you get to see what the rest of them looks like, and all of them just get right into your face, except for Mangle, which more than anything makes Phantom Mangle come off more as a little shy kid who wants to scare you. But I was just like, I'm sorry, is this a bad time? Oh, I'm sorry, I'll come back later. Bye. So, while I think Phantom Mangle looks sick as hell, even more so than regular Mangle, I can't really rank her above her, so Phantom Mangle is going to be going below regular Mangle. Does that make sense? And to absolutely nobody's surprise, a Nightmare animatronic is going at the top of the list immediately. And how could I not find it my favorite right now? It is just a monstrous take on FNAF 1 Foxy, and you all at this point should know how I feel about monsters. It's more scarred up, with sharper teeth, bigger jaw and chest, and has a cool addition, a part of its snout having a part of its endoskeleton exposed. One thing I do have a complaint, however, is I wish he kept his tongue. Top of the list. Nightmare Mangle is basically the same thing. All you gotta do is take what I said about regular Mangle and Nightmare Foxy and put together, because that's exactly what Nightmare Mangle is. It's just regular Mangle, and it's also Nightmare Foxy. There's no difference between them. Below Nightmare Foxy. Once more, Funtime Foxy is the best animatronic in Sister Location, but I still don't really think it looks good. All it really is just an expanded upon idea of Funtime Foxy from FNAF World, who I actually think looks really good in FNAF World, but because it's a FNAF World animatronic, it doesn't count for this video, but just know, if it did, this would probably go, like, above Mangle or something, I don't know. And I'm 99% sure that all the other animatronics in this game are based around Funtime Foxy, who is based around this animatronic. So if it weren't for Funtime Foxy in FNAF World, we wouldn't have had the animatronic sister location. So, on that note, I actually kind of hate this thing. Yeah. However, I will say I actually do love his voice in Ultimate Custom Nights. The fact that it's like an old-timey radio show host, like Alistair, or the radio from Brave Little Toaster. That's a nice little detail. I like it. And if you had any doubts that Funtime Foxy in Sister Location was at all based on Funtime Foxy from FNAF World, which, why would you? Then Lolbits in Sister Location will surely wipe away all those doubts, because it's a reskin of Funtime Foxy, just the same as she was in FNAF World. And while I do love Lolbits, even more so than Funtime Foxy in FNAF World, I can't really say I like Lolbit in Sister Location either, because there's nothing really to her. She's just a floating head. There's nothing really there about her design. And while I'm sure if she still had a full body, I probably would rank her above Funtime Foxy, maybe even above regular Foxy if I was still there. But because all is just a head, I can't really do that, so below Funtime Foxy. Again, Rockstar Foxy is the best animatronic in FNAF 6, but that's not really saying anything because they all look like shit in that game. Fight me. I do like him a little bit more than Funtime Foxy, but that's not really much of a compliment now, is it? An interesting thing to note is that it is the only Foxy of like the main 4 animatronics that, you know, isn't withered in some way. And because of that alone, that fact alone, does make it a little bit better than the rest, but I don't really have it in my heart to rank it anywhere above regular Foxy, so it's going below regular Foxy, but above Funtime Foxy. And it's a shame I don't really like it that much either, because it just suffers heavily from the I'm a FNAF 6 animatronic syndrome that just makes it look off. If the Rockstar Foxy was in any other game, I bet you $100 that I would like it. But as is, I've stated before that Pirate Foxy in Help Wanted is the worst original animatronic for the game, but that doesn't really mean I think it's a bad design, because all it is at the end of the day is just regular Foxy, but a little bit more dressed up to look more like a pirate captain. And because I like the original Foxy design either, a more dressed up version of it is just maybe a little bit better. That's just the way that's the way I feel. Yeah, that's all I really gotta say about Pirate Foxy. It's just regular Foxy, but with a coat and hat. Going above regular Foxy. Grim Foxy is such a cool design. It's an expanded upon take of the Jack-o'-lantern animatronics from the FNAF 4 Halloween update. It has a bunch of cool elements to it, like the fire inside of it, the hook that's now a sickle, and the cool little shoulder fluff things. But I can't say I like it, because the head reminds me way too much of Withered Foxy, and you know how I feel about Withered Foxy. I really do want to like Withered Foxy, I really do. But it just reminds me too much of Withered Foxy. So I'm going to be sandwiching between Funtime Foxy and Lolbit. That's the way it is. I don't know how controversial including Roxanne Wolf in this ranking video of Foxy designs, considering she's a completely different character and a completely different species as Foxy, but she, more than any of the other glam rock animatronics, resembles Foxy the most. Her casual name, the name she goes by in the game, Roxy, is very clearly based on Foxy. So in my eyes, she fills the role of Foxy in Security Breach the same way Monty fills the role of Bonnie. So I'm going to be ranking her. And what do I think of Roxanne Wolf? I love her! Hands down! Roxanne Wolf is like my favorite of the Foxy animatronic. Yes, even more than the Nightmares. And if you know me, that is saying something. I really don't like being open about what I'm about to talk about right here. I'm working on a video where all that is just being this kind of open. And I am going to be talking about Roxy in that video. So consider what I'm about to say spoilers. I mean it wholeheartedly when I say Roxanne Wolf was my bisexual awakening. Before her, it was just a little bit of a gray area where I wasn't really sure if I liked women. I definitely like men. No, there's no question about it. I definitely like men, but I wasn't sure if I really liked women. There was a long period of time where, that was just up in the air. But then Roxanne Wolf came around and it completely changed that around. Now I am confidently bisexual. I like men, I like women because of Roxy. So because of that, I don't have it in my heart to rank her anywhere but first place. She gets the gold trophy. And with that, let's get on to the final ranking, going from worst to best. You know how I go. Phantom Foxy, Withered Foxy, Lolbit, Grim Foxy, Phantom Foxy, Rockstar Foxy, Foxy, Pirate Foxy, Phantom Mangle, Nightmare Foxy, Roxy. Wow. I hope you enjoyed this video. Follow my Twitter and subscribe to my Patreon, both of which are in the link in the description down below. And if you're watching this on Patreon, when the full video eventually comes out, comment Roxy for Fortnite, and I'll heart your comment.